Okay, looks like YouTube. Huh? Alright, is the YouTube working? Okay, yeah, looks like it's all working. Yeah, I think we're live. Comrade Rahul and Thinker369, thanks for coming. So, if anybody has any ESL questions, I would really like to hear those. So, ask your questions if you got them. That would be great. If not, that's also fine. We're going to be going over some food idioms, some more. Right? We never finished our food idioms. That's fine. Someone says, Namaste from India. Well, actually, I'm not really sure what Namaste means. Is that like a... I've heard people say it before, but I'm not sure what the actual meaning is. All right, let's Google that, actually. Namaste. What does namaste mean? A respectful greeting. Okay. Another term for namaskar. I don't know what that is. Namaste. Customary respectfully greeting. Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, that's nice of you. Namaste to you as well, then. All right, so now we know what namaste means. Yeah, mostly I hear like a bunch of yoga people saying it. like for some reason, like, yeah, yoga and namaste are kind of like entwined, I guess. Maybe I suppose yoga is an Indian practice, so I guess it makes sense for them to be saying namaste a lot. Anywho, so let's check and see how the YouTube stream is going. Someone says, good morning. Oh, hello. How's it going? Make sure, ask me any questions about ESL if you have them. It's nice to get some YouTube chat going there. Anywho, so if nobody has any ESL questions, then I'm just going to get into talking about some idioms and stuff. Okay. Comrade Rahul says, hi, good morning. Where are you from? Oh, well, I'm from Texas, which is in the United States. I guess I should say I'm from the United States. I live in Texas. Yeah, people from Texas, they like to say that they're from Texas, not that they're Americans. They're Texans. All right, I guess we have a lot of pride in our state. I think Texas is okay. It's pretty good. I like it mostly because a lot of my friends and family are here. So, anyway, yeah, I'm from Texas. How about you, Comrade Rahul? The weather? I actually haven't been outside today, but looks pretty good out there. I don't know if you guys can see. Looks pretty nice out the window, huh? I don't think it's very cold today. I think it kind of got warm again. It was a little bit cold for a little while, but not so much now. Let's check the weather report here. San Antonio weather. See what's going on today. So we got about 20 degrees Celsius, high of 24 Celsius today. Pretty standard. So not very cold though. What time is it in Texas? Well, these aren't really ESL questions, but I'll answer them anyway. It's 11:30 a.m. in Texas right now. 11:30 a.m. So still the morning, right? But late morning. What do you do for a living? Rahul, I'm an English teacher. Yeah, I'm an English teacher. That's what I do for a living. Yeah, I teach English online. Yeah, I'm an online English teacher. So 100%, that's my full-time job. Yeah, but pretty soon I'll also be going back to school, which I'm actually pretty excited about. I'm looking forward to that. So I'll be studying my master's in psychology. All right, but I'll still be teaching English online. All right, yeah. In India, it's 11:05. Yeah, and I actually used to do this live stream a little later, but since most of my followers are from India, I put it earlier, but then we went through the time change. So in the winter time in the United States, we set our clock back by an hour. So I was starting the live stream at 10 p.m. in India, but now it's starting at 11 p.m., which is later than I wanted. Classic. Yeah, the time change, we call it daylight savings time. Man. It causes a lot of problems in my life, because, not every country does that. So some of them don't do it. And then the ones that do it, they all do it on different times, different days, different weeks. So they don't all do it at the same day or on the same day. Yeah, it always causes a lot of hectic scheduling problems. Hey, here's Prince with us here. Thinker says, please give some tips to improve written English, sir. Tips to improve written English. Let's write that one down, actually. If anyone wants to see what I'm writing, like this here, if you want to see what I'm writing, then you can watch on YouTube. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Hey, DJ, thanks for coming. Please check my comments there. Oh, okay. I don't see any comments from you, Prince. Not on YouTube, or at least not yet. But yeah, I'll bounce back and forth and make sure I'm checking the YouTube chat too. Okay. Now, how to improve writing? That's a big question. Who asked that, actually? Thinker. That's a pretty big question, Thinker. There's a lot of different types of writing, in English. So let's try to narrow that down a little bit, right? And DJ says, hello, hey, thanks for coming. If you have any ESL questions, let me know. Okay, I'm happy to answer them. So let's type this down, actually, here. I'm going to put this in my notes on YouTube. Egg on your face. That's a good question. Let me type that down, too. What does egg on your face mean? Okay. So, but first let's answer Thinker's question about writing. All right. I am poor in writing. Well, here's some good news for you. Writing is hard. All right. Everybody wants to be a better writer. Everybody's poor at writing. All right. It's very different. It's a different way of organizing your thoughts. It's more formal. So, tips to improve writing in English. All right. Hey, Camilo. Thanks for coming. Let me wave at you there. If you have any ESL questions, let me know. So hard indeed, yeah. So, tips to improve writing. Let's think of some very general things. Okay, here's some general tips right away. All right. When writing, don't try to plan, write, edit, and proofread all at the same time, especially on the IELTS or the TOEFL. Right? Good writing starts with good planning. Right? You always want to plan your writing before you do it. What are you going to say? How do you want to say it? What is your position? What is your conclusion? It's always going to be better to plan before you write. Oh, here's Suhani. Hey, Suhani. Thanks for coming. Suhani is a potential prospective student, so maybe we'll be seeing more of each other soon. We'll see. So good writing always starts with good planning. Right? As far as the editing and proofreading while writing, you want to focus 100% of your effort on writing first, and then when you're done, focus 100% of your effort on editing and proofreading. Doing editing and proofreading at the same time makes you slower, and it decreases your quality. All right. Hey, Sonny. Sandhya, thanks for coming. Yep, thanks for coming. If you have any ESL questions, let me know. Right now, we're talking about some general tips to improve our English writing. I am writing these down, but you can't see it unless you watch on YouTube. Okay, so come watch on YouTube. You can actually see what I'm writing on YouTube. Well, Thinker, to improve this aspect of writing, you could do that fast. You could do that right now. So these are bad habits. All right, so these first tips that I'm giving you amount to just not doing bad habits or fixing bad habits. A lot of people have this same habit. They're editing and proofreading and writing all at the same time. They write a few words, they go back, they fix something, they change something, they come back, they write a few more words, they go back, they fix something, they change something, they write a few more words. Like they're constantly going back and forth. But this is a really, really bad habit because A, it's interrupting your thought process, making the writing more difficult. B, you're not even focusing 100% on your editing and proofreading. So you're going to miss stuff, and it's just not going to be as effective anyway. All right, so we want to avoid that habit. Oh, here's Prince in the YouTube chat. Let's see what he's saying. Hi, how to improve speaking skills without taking the help of any speaking partners? I think we have to be excellent at grammar and punctuation and advanced vocabulary to become a great writer. Oh, sure. And then Comrade Rahul over here is also asking, how can I be fluent in speaking? Yeah, we'll talk about that. But first, let's talk a little bit more about writing. Okay, so here's one more thing. Like Prince mentioned, grammar. So, there's a lot of grammatical mistakes that you can make on writing, right? There's all kinds of different kinds of grammatical mistakes. But most of my more advanced students, they have grammatical mistakes in kind of three main categories, right? So try to fix or avoid the top three grammatical errors. All right, number one. Here's our first one. Articles. A, an, and the. All right. Make sure that your nouns, singular nouns, and uncountable nouns, no, most just singular nouns, have the appropriate article attached to them, right? That's a big part of writing errors right there. Articles. Number two, tense agreement. Don't shift out of a particular tense mid-sentence. It's okay to shift from one past tense to another past tense, or one present tense to another present tense. But don't shift out of the past to the present or the present to the future in the same sentence. All right, tense agreement, that's another big one. All right, very, very, very frequent error. All right, very frequent. Now, let's be fair. Are there times when you could shift a tense out of whatever you're in within a sentence? Yeah, there are some times that you could do that. But it's best to be avoided because it's tricky to do that correctly, and it's much easier to just finish the sentence. And if you want to shift tense, start a new sentence in that tense. Okay? And then kind of related to that, but it's different, is the subject verb agreement. Make sure that your third person singular subjects actually have the S added to their verbs. This is a very, very common error, right? So that's our top 3 grammatical errors that happen the most frequently in my experience, right? Articles, tense agreement, subject-verb agreement. If you can minimize those errors or correct them, that'll make your writing much better pretty quickly, right? And then also avoiding that bad habit of writing, planning, editing, and proofreading all at the same time, that's a mistake. It's a bad habit. Don't do that. Yeah, so those are the quick tips. All right, quick tips. Other than that, lots of reading and seeing examples of good writing is always a nice way to improve your own writing. All right. Thinker says, what tense should we use while talking about general things? I think that probably the more common tense, and actually my single full-length YouTube video is about that, exactly that. Like, what is our most useful general tense? Probably past simple, right? Because a lot of the things that you talk about, you're talking about them because they already happened. That's how you know about them. If it hadn't already happened, then how would you talk about it? You could talk about things that you want to happen in the future, sure. But much more commonly, we're talking about things that are done. They happened in the past. Past simple, not present simple. So past simple is definitely more useful, more common. And then also present continuous. All right. Is there a general rule or guideline that suggests a person can become proficient in English within 3 months? Well, can they become more proficient in English? Yeah. But if you're saying like starting from 0 and becoming proficient in 3 months, no. That's very unlikely to happen unless maybe the person's some kind of super genius or something like that. But that's very rare, very rare. Prince is also sending some messages here. He's got a lot of questions. I think if we just have creativity but not great command over English, it is nothing wrong to help of AI tools. Sure, yeah, you can take the help of AI tools. That's possible. James, is it possible to shift your picture to the top right-hand corner instead of top left-hand corner, just covering the screen a bit? Oh, yeah, I can do that. There. That was easy. Oh, according to your test, Suhani, let me look at those test results again. No, I remember. Your test results came back as an A1 for your grammar, but speaking to you, I know that your speaking and listening skill is much higher than that. So could we increase your proficiency in 3 months? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We can make a pretty big difference there in 3 months because I can tell that you, Suhani, have a lot more experience with the English language. So your conversational fluency is already pretty good, but you really need to work on a lot of that grammar. All right, so I sent you the results of your test already, so you should be able to see that. We could probably get you up from the A1 to like maybe the B1 or even the B2 level pretty quickly. Now, within 3 months, that would really depend on you. All right, how many classes are you taking per week? Are you actually doing your homework that I send you? So there would be some other factors involved there, but if you took 1 or 2 classes a week, actually did your homework that I sent you, and really focused on learning and improving, hell yeah, we could probably get. we'll definitely be able to get you at least to a B1 level, grammatically speaking. Maybe B2. It really depends on how much time and effort you're going to put into that. All right, but yeah, definitely. Good question, Suhani. Now, who? Okay, yeah. Then it was Carrie. Carrie asked, "What does egg on your face mean?" Yeah, sure. Okay, let's clear this out. We don't need this anymore. If anyone wants to see what I wrote down, all you have to do is come to the YouTube. Okay, you can watch the YouTube later. It's recorded. Let's delete all that. We don't need it. Let's move this over here. Boop. What does egg on your face mean? Prince, I saw the question. I'm gonna answer this one first, and then we'll go over it. All right. So usually, egg on your face is going to be collocated with have. You know, I have egg on my face, right? Let's type an example sentence, right? A lot of English teachers online don't teach specific grammar points because in my opinion, they don't want to be wrong about something and end up with egg on their faces, right? Or they don't want to have egg on their faces, right? So to have quote unquote egg on your face means to be embarrassed by something, all right? Being embarrassed about something. All right, now I'm perfectly comfortable teaching a bunch of grammar. All right, doesn't bother me. The funny thing about English grammar is, I mean, there's a lot of rules, of course, but there's actually also a lot of exceptions to those rules. So someone can find some exception to whatever grammar that you're teaching and come out and say, haha, you're wrong. But for me, it's more like, haha, we're both right. All right. So teaching grammar can be tricky because you can end up with egg on your face. You can be right or wrong about that. Most people, especially like on Instagram and stuff, they seem to prefer teaching like conversational elements, phrasing, vocabulary, because there's no clear right or wrong there. In my opinion, right? I think that's why they're doing it, because they're afraid to be wrong and end up with egg on their face, right? So having egg on your face means being embarrassed, usually publicly. All right. Where does that come from? Not sure. It's like someone throws an egg at you. Egg on your face. It's gooey and weird. Oh, look, digital art started following. Sir, I need help, sir. Okay, I mean, what do you need help with, buddy? Yeah, don't worry about it. Just tell me what it is. Okay, let's get into some of Prince's questions. He asked a few questions in the YouTube chat. Let's pop over there. How to improve speaking skills without taking the help of any speaking partners. That's a good one. Okay, that's a good question. Now, of course, there are AI apps that like help you with conversation partners, but from everything I've tested myself and everything I've heard from others, they're pretty awful. They're not very useful. Me working on speaking, without a partner, can we do this? Yeah. I would call this shadow boxing or linguistic shadow boxing. Right, linguistic shadow boxing. Shadow boxing. I don't know if anyone who's watching has ever I need $200, sir. Me too, buddy. Yeah. Me too. Yeah, I need $200 as well. Sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you about that one. That's not an ESL question. That's more of a money request. If I was a rich man and you needed $200, I'd probably give it to you. But I am not a rich man, and I don't have $200 to spare. Sorry, buddy. All right, but nice try though. All right, nice try though. So linguistic shadowboxing. If anyone's ever practiced boxing or some other forms of martial arts, there's a good chance that you've heard of shadowboxing. You're kind of meditating on what you're doing, right? Like, okay, if I throw this kind of punch, what could my opponent do to counter that? What could I do to anticipate it? What can I do to counter his counter? Linguistic shadowboxing. Plan out your own conversations. Like, what would I say if I wanted to order food from a restaurant? How would I approach that situation? Okay, I say, can I get a menu, please? What would they say to me? Right? How might someone respond to that? Oh, okay, sir, would you like the vegetarian or non-vegetarian menu? So it's like, okay, so then you're planning out the conversation. What would you say? How would someone respond to that? How would you respond to that? How would they respond to that? How would you? So what you're doing is you're just kind of building dialogue practice. Right. So if you don't have a conversation partner, then this is one way you could do it. Right. Just say it out loud, write it down, just in your head, whatever. This is how I practice language. All right. My Chinese level is pretty low, but the fluency that I have with the language that I know is pretty good. Right, because I plan it out. I think about it like, well, what can I say in this situation? How can I use these words? What different ways could I use these words? Yeah, he's not open to charity. I mean, Suhani, that's true. I have not opened to charity. I need charity, right? As far as like American monetary standards go, as American standards, I'm poor. Like, I'm a poor person. Okay, so $200 is 10% of my monthly income. That's significant. It's a significant portion of my monthly income, and I don't have it to spare. Sorry, right? But yeah, good try. Doesn't hurt to ask, right? So, but thanks for asking. I guess I have people asking me for money on social media about once a week. I think people see like my videos and they think, wow, like this guy must be successful or something. I assure you that success has not come yet. Believe me. Right, there's long story short, I don't have $200 to spare, unfortunately. I wish I did, but even if I did, I'd probably be spending it on something like paying off debts or my credit card, or I just spent a bunch of money getting into my graduate program, my master's program. That was extremely expensive. It will come soon. Well, I appreciate your positivity there, Suhani. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway. What's up? What is the meaning of what's up? How to reply to it? It looks like the chat in the YouTube. Oh, you retracted a bunch of messages, Prince. Okay. That makes sense then. Shoot. You had some nice questions in there, but you retracted them. Anyway, I think there were other questions in this Instagram chat too. Speaking skills, yes. I think my speaking level is also A2. Prince, I think you've called in before on the live stream. I don't think your speaking skills are A2. All right, and to be clear, Suhani's speaking skills are definitely not A2. I think Suhani's speaking skills are probably much closer to B1, maybe B1 plus. It's approaching B2. Her speaking is quite good. It's her grammar, and then because her grammar is low, her writing is also low. But her listening and speaking is actually quite good. We've got the digital arts guy. Super bad prepositions and prepositions topic. How to improve speaking skills without speaking partner again. Prepositions. Oof. Tell you what. Everybody's bad at prepositions. In my experience, everybody's bad at prepositions. So if you have a specific question about that, I can answer you. But prepositions are kind of a big topic, kind of tricky to address specifically. It's not worth continuing to work there. Is this sentence correct? It's not worth continuing to work there? Yeah, that sounds great to me. It's not worth continuing to work there. We could rephrase it in a few different ways if we really wanted to. Let's play around with that. It's not worth continuing to work there. It's not worth it to work there anymore. It's not worth working there. Or it's not worth working there anymore or any longer. That is correct. There's other ways we could say it. Of course, there's always another way to say it, especially in English. But yeah, it sounds good to me. Sir, when I try to speak in English with fluent English speaker, it makes me feel nervous and I end up getting blank. How to overcome that fear? That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good question. So, kind of an English question, but also kind of a psychology question too. All right. Fear. So, what you're afraid of here typically is failure or ending up with egg on your face, getting embarrassed somehow. All right. I think very often the source of that fear is when you're talking to a native speaker, they're using words and phrases that you've never heard before. They're speaking pretty fast. They're linking words together and chunking it together, so it sounds like they're blending these words together. And it's very overwhelming because it's hard to get practice with that. It's hard. All right. So, and Suhani's, I think Suhani and I have talked about this when she did her demo lesson. One very good way to help alleviate or start to alleviate that fear is getting a more exposure to native speakers and how they talk and the speed, the things they say, how they say them. How do you do that? My suggestion is podcasts. All right. Find some podcasts that are related to your personal or professional interests that are for native speakers, native English-speaking podcasts. Listen to them. Okay? I would recommend using an app called Castbox. Castbox. Let me type that into the comments here. Castbox. Oh, this is in the Chinese keyboard. Castbox app. Let me put that in quotes, actually, right? It's called Castbox. That's an app. It's a, here we go. It's a, shoot. Okay, I'm gonna wave at some people. Oh, man. Here we go. Hello. Thanks for coming. Gosh, it's so hard to navigate the chat on Instagram. Sometimes it just pulls the screen up. Sometimes it doesn't. Gosh, dang it. Come on. There we go. So, Castbox is a nice app for podcasts. Specifically, I like it because it has a playback speed control feature. If you're having difficulty understanding what they're saying, you can slow it down, right? And then work your way up to full speed. I like that. I like that a lot. It's very, very helpful. A lot of people, when they're first trying to develop their English listening skills, they get frustrated and quit because they're going too fast and they can't follow it. So if you have the ability to slow it down a little bit, then you can work your skills up to that level until finally you can understand what they're saying at the normal speed that they say it. That alone will really, really help some of the nervousness or fear that you're experiencing when you're trying to talk to native speakers. And if you're listening to native speaking podcasts, no matter what topic, you are going to learn a lot of new language. A lot, which is great. Right? No problem with that, huh? Let's scroll down here. Are my comments visible to everyone? Yes. It will come soon. Okay, thank you, Sunny. Down, down, down. Hi, from Oregon. What are you doing in Oregon? Just working, I guess? Hi, thanks for coming. Sir, please reply. I did. Okay, is it possible to speak fluent English without knowing the grammar in depth? Well, yeah. Sure. Fluency is not a measurement of your grammatical ability. Fluency is a measurement more so of your ease of communication. All right? Fluency is about how well the language flows, right? Like a river. Is it flowing out well? So you can be highly fluent communicating. Yeah, you can be a fluent communicator, but still have a lot of grammatical problems. Think of a small child, native English-speaking child. Are they fluent? Yeah. Are they using correct grammar? No. Heck no, they're not. So yes, it's entirely possible to be a fluent communicator without having in-depth grammatical knowledge. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that this often will happen in steps, right? You'll learn some aspect of grammar and vocabulary, and your fluency is very low. You practice that, and your fluency gets a lot higher, but then you need to learn new grammar and vocabulary. And so your fluency goes back down because you're trying to integrate new language features, but then it goes back up as you practice, you get better at that, and then boom, now you're at this other level. Now you need to learn new grammar and vocabulary for this level, so your fluency goes back down again. So it feels like you're not improving. It tricks you into thinking, oh my gosh, my fluency is bad. But your fluency fluctuates with how much you're learning and how much you know and how much you use it. In fact, some people, they achieve a very high level of fluency, and then they stop practicing. They stop using English, and then they start again. Uh-oh, their fluency's down again. Right? It's a skill. You have to practice it. Thinker369 says their accent also. Yeah, the listening to podcasts, again, it also gives you a greater exposure to a much greater range of different accents and different accent features. All right, I love suggesting podcasts to people. It is a very, very safe bet to efficiently increase your language skill. All right, very safe bet. Okay, let's check the YouTube chat really quick. What is the meaning of what's up? How to reply? As I said, like I said, how to use these two phrases correctly. Okay, well, first let's talk about what's up. Most of them are boring. Okay, I think, sir, I don't know what that says. Sir something. Grammar is tough. Yeah, it sure is. Grammar is really tough. I actually have a video series that I've been thinking about, because I have these lapel mics that I use for my recordings now, and there's two of them, so I could do an interview. And I'm really thinking about on college campus, because I'm going to be back on campus again soon. I'd like to do some interviews with United States college students, right? It's like Can you tell me what an infinitive is and how to use it in a sentence? Do you know what a gerund is? Right? Those kinds of questions, but to native speaking college students, I think that would really tickle me. I think those would be fun. It's like if you don't understand some aspect of English grammar, there's a pretty good chance that native speakers don't either, right? Like me, I can help you and explain things to you and teach you, but I'm a professional, right? I've got certifications, qualifications, experience, right? But this is my job. But it's totally normal for you to have trouble with grammar and not understand it. And I can guarantee you that if there's some kind of piece of English grammar that you don't understand well, there's probably 50% or more of native speakers also don't understand it well. They just know how to use it, right? They have high fluency, low understanding, right? They don't have to understand exactly how the grammar works. They just need to use it correctly enough times to remember it, internalize it. But I guarantee you, most native speakers, they're not walking around thinking, how would I grammatically construct this sentence? They've already used that type of sentence so many times that they don't have to think about it. They've done it wrong so many times. Their parents corrected them, their teachers corrected them, maybe their friends corrected them. They internalize how to do it correctly. They have high fluency, low knowledge, right? So do you have to have high grammatical knowledge to have fluency? Absolutely not, right? It means thank you in Hindi. Okay, cool. Thanks. Well, what was that again? Thikhain, sir, Danyawad. Man, that's hard. That's hard. You said most podcasts are boring. Well, you're not looking up the right podcast, buddy. Find something that you think is interesting. All right? Not just any podcast. Now, let's get back to Prince's questions. What's up? All right. How do you reply to what's up? This is a very informal kind of question, right? What's up? Very informal. Sometimes it's rhetorical. Right? Sometimes it's not even really a question. It's more of a statement. They're just kind of all good, can't complain. They're just kind of acknowledging that you're there, acknowledging you as a person. All right, what's up? We could act as if it's a question. We could say, nothing. Nothing much. How about you? All right, follow-up question. We could just say, just like, hey, how's it going? All right, that's fine. What's up? You could actually tell them, what are you up to? How have things been lately? All right, that's fine. So, what's up? This is usually an intro to some kind of small talk or just some kind of polite acknowledgement. That's a long word. Some kind of polite acknowledgement. All right, so very often, like, especially Americans, if we say something like, what's up, how are you, how's it going? We don't really mean it very literally. We're just trying to be friendly and polite, right? It's like, do we actually want to hear a 10-minute story about how you're doing and what's your family, no. Usually not really, all right? Can you address it that way? Sure, you could, but it might come off as a little awkward. So, if someone says, what's up, I would just stick with either nothing much, how about you, or hey, how's it going? Right? Those are the two easiest kinds of responses there. Sat2Cool says, which country, sir? I think you mean like which country am I from or which country am I in? All right. I'm in the United States, and I'm from the United States, Texas specifically. All right, let's clear all of this. How do I just clear? Can I just clear this screen? No, not really. I'll just delete all this stuff here. And there's one little line remaining. There we go. What was his other question? As I said, like I said, how to use these two phrases correctly. Well, let's type these down in my notes here. Let's move this over. Make it size 24 so you can actually see it. As I said, like I said. All right. These are two things, two phrases that we use to repeat ourselves. All right. We need to wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m. so we can make it to the airport on time. All right, that's person A is saying that. Okay, I still need to pack. That's person B. All right. Person A. What time do we need to go to the airport again? This is person C says that. And then person A says, well, like I said, or as I said, we need to wake up at 7 a.m., hopefully leave by 7:30. All right. So it's like I'm repeating myself. But here's the trick, right? Very often, like I said, or as I said, is interpreted as sarcasm equals it is rude sounding, right? It sounds rude. So, yeah, as I said and like I said, we do use them to introduce the fact that I have said this before. Right? I am repeating myself. We're emphasizing that point, kind of at the same time accusing someone of, you need to listen to me more carefully. I should not need to say this again. That's kind of what we're implying. I personally, I would avoid it. All right, I would avoid it because it's very often interpreted as sarcasm. Now, I use these phrases sometimes. I'll say, like I have said before, or like I said before. All right. So now this before kind of places me saying this thing further back in time. So now it might be more understandable or more relatable that you might not remember. Right? Like with some of my students, it's like, oh, blah, 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 what are we doing? Well, like I've said before, we need to do this, this, and this here because of these reasons. All right, so I'm just kind of reminding them we have gone over this in a previous lesson, but I'm trying not to sound rude. All right, so depending on the context, hey, Jishnu, thanks for coming. Depending on the context, it might be more or less appropriate. But generally speaking, I would typically avoid the phrase or these phrases because they can be interpreted as rude sarcasm. All right, so it's better not to leave it open to interpretation to be rude like that. All right. Once explain the idioms bite a bullet and dime a dozen. And then he's got another question here. He says, I can completely understand your English, but I am not able to watch movies without subtitles. Why is it so? All right. Why is it so? Well, number one, people in movies are not trained, experienced, professional ESL or EFL instructors. And I am. So when I'm speaking, especially when I'm speaking to you here in like a live stream or on my videos or in class, I'm specifically enunciating very clearly. I'm speaking at a relatively slower speed, and I'm very intentionally trying to avoid overly complicated idiomatic expressions, phrasal verbs, prepositional verbs, or cultural references. All right? So it sounds like I'm just using normal, natural, everyday English, but that's because I'm an experienced professional. All right? But then you watch a movie, and these people are actors that are attempting to entertain a native-speaking English audience. So they are doing a lot more linking and chunking and blending on their language. Instead of saying, hey, how's it going? They say, hey, how's it going? Instead of saying, I'm doing just fine. They say, I'm doing all right. All right, so they're linking and chunking and blending language more. Instead of saying, I'm doing fine, they say, everything's looking up. Or it's all daisies from here. All right, or something like that. So they're using these different expressions, they're doing different speed, they're blending, linking, and chunking. And so you're like, oh, I don't understand them. And it's because you're not used to native level English or native level speed, native level phrasing. You're just not used to it. So me as a experienced professional, it's always going to be a big difference on like how easy it is to understand. All right, because I am not speaking in the same way that I would talk to one of my American friends. Of course not. That would be weird. That'd be crazy. Prince has some more questions. I'm going to get to them. Someone has a question here as well. Sir, why don't you start app in Play Store? An app in the Play Store. Right? An app in the Play Store. I don't know. What kind of app? What do you mean? Like a language learning app? I guess there's several reasons for that. Why don't I start an app? Number one, I don't have the technical ability to do that. I have no idea how to write an app or I don't know anything about that at all. Zero. Number two, I don't have the money to pay someone who does have the technical ability to do that, right? So that's problem number two, related to problem number one. I can't do it, and I have no idea how. I can't afford to pay someone who knows how to do it. And number three, even if I could afford to pay someone to do it, I don't know if they're doing a good job or not because I have no idea what they're doing or how. And then finally, problem number four, what kind of app? I don't know. I don't know what kind of app I'd make. Some kind of language learning app, I suppose. But there's already a bunch of those. What would I be contributing to the market? So I have my $5 a month subscription package that we're currently advertising and trying to get that going. That I feel like I'm contributing something new or different to the market, right? I'm trying to offer a service to get people very high value, high quality English lessons, but at a very good, affordable price, right? It's very difficult to get a lesson with a native speaker for that price. They're group lessons, and they're large groups. But for some people, that might be the very first time they've ever learned anything from a native English speaker, especially at that price point, $5 a month. That, I feel like, is a positive and meaningful contribution to the English language learning market. That's what I want, right? That's my goal. I want to have a meaningful, positive contribution. As far as how I would accomplish a meaningful, positive contribution with an app in the App Store or Play Store or whatever, I don't have the first clue. No idea at all. Hey, Grandma came. Hey, thanks for coming, Gran. Love you. Now, we got a bunch of other questions in the YouTube chat. Happily, love that. So happy to have a plethora of questions. Oh my God, more questions is always better, I promise. Makes things so much better for me. It wants me to explain the idioms bite a bullet and dime a dozen, right? Well, it's actually not bite a bullet. It's bite the bullet and dime a dozen, all right? So bite the bullet, this is a phrasal verb. All right, it's inseparable, and it is intransitive. So it does not need a direct object. All right, dime a dozen. This is an idiomatic adjective. All right, it's describing something. All right, so bite the bullet. I think we actually went over this in one of the previous streams, but no harm in going over it again. I certainly don't mind. So let's look at an example first. All right, if these advertising campaigns don't work, I might have to bite the bullet, and scale back on the business, on the online school business I have been trying to grow. All right. So, that's a tough decision that I would be making. It's a difficult decision, right? So, if you have to, quote unquote, bite the bullet, that means you're making a tough or difficult decision about something, right? Higher education, like a master's degree, is very expensive. But I had to bite the bullet and do my best to pay for it anyway. All right, so again, paying for it is difficult. It's a difficult decision, so I'm going to bite the bullet to do it. Right, so it's making some kind of tough or difficult decision. All right, and usually it's not dime a dozen; it's a dime a dozen. All right, so if something is, quote unquote, is described as being, quote unquote, a dime a dozen, that implies that it is either A, very cheap, or B, very common. All right? It's not valuable due to the availability of it. All right? So I'd say like ESL content creators on Instagram and TikTok are a dime a dozen, right? So what am I saying? There are a whole lot of them, and they're easy to find. All right, so it's like not valuable. It's not like something rare. Something's a dime a dozen. That means you can get 12 of them for 10 cents. So it's like less than 1 cent per each one. Right? So it's just kind of emphasizing that it's cheap and widely available. All right. English learning lessons and English programs online are a dime a dozen. Right? It's like there's a million English teachers out there, right? There's many of them. And so any one individual English teacher is not that rare or valuable, right? Not on its face, at least, not initially. So does that clear that up? Hopefully. I try to use some relevant examples here. Prince, wait a minute. Did you you retracted some more of your comments. Dang it. You retracted them. Well, I guess we're about out of time for this week anyway. All right, so we've only got a few more seconds of streaming time. We recommend that you what? We recommend you use a higher bit rate. I don't know what that means. Okay, well, YouTube was telling me to use a higher bit rate, but I'm not sure what that means. Okay, now, if I didn't get to address your questions, don't worry about it. You can always submit like a comment on the video, and I'll still address it. Don't worry about it. And, of course, we also have our question videos that we post every week, where I try to post them every week. Sometimes I forget. But if you got questions, yeah, post your question on there, too. Great. All for it. Okay. So, thanks everybody for watching. You're very welcome. Thank you, Carrie. And, remember, if you need help with your English, you need needhelpenglish.com. Education, training, success. Hope everyone has a good weekend, and I'll see you later.